Alright fellas, now over the last weekend we saw the boxing return of Nico Ali Walsh. If you've never heard of him before, he's basically in the public eye because he's the grandson of the late great legend Muhammad Ali. He was marketed as the next generation of Ali and is chasing legitimate boxing glory. Nico has a 10-1 record and is ranked 148th in the world in the middleweight division, and last weekend he had a bit of an interesting fight. So why am I even talking about him? Well, his post-fight interview has basically led me to make this video. He claimed he turned down a multi-million-dollar deal to fight Jake Paul from his promotion MVP, branding Jake Paul a circus. He decided to rather stick with Top Rank and continue his apparent legitimate boxing rise. With that being said, there's a lot of chatter online and I wanted to really evaluate just how good Nico Ali Walsh is, addressing his resume, potential future, and talking about that now unfortunately hyped up potential Jake Paul bout. So, let's get right into it. Nico Ali Walsh, before going pro in 2021, had a decent amateur career of about 30 bouts. When he decided to go pro in 2021, he started working with Tyson Fury's trainer Sugar Hill Stewart, while also of course in 2021 signing on to Top Rank, run by Bob Arum, who promoted 27 of his grandfather Muhammad Ali's fights. His first bout in August of 2021 didn't disappoint, getting the first round TKO over Jordan Weeks. Following his debut, Nico Ali Walsh has really just versed lower quality journeyman-esque opponents, a notable inclusion including Reyes Sanchez, in which his first fight against Nico only scraped a majority decision, with the rematch happening a few fights later with Nico being able to KO Sanchez in the second round. Another notable fight includes his fight against Danny Rosenberger, which was a draw until Rosenberger was caught doping and it was changed to a no contest. This leads us into his 9th professional fight, which was his first and only loss to Sona Akale. The 35-year-old middleweight in Akale managed to out-hustle Nico and cause the upset over 6 rounds, getting the majority decision. The aggression he brought throughout the 6 rounds was enough of a force to land him the biggest win of his career. Yet, last weekend, Nico was able to avenge this loss by taking home a tight unanimous decision and fighting through a dislocated shoulder in round 6 to manage to take home the sweet revenge. Will we see a trilogy? No. Also, I saw online a lot of people were saying his opponent was wearing 16-ounce gloves. No, they were just white gloves and did just make his hands look bigger. No commission would allow that to be sanctioned, yet if proof came out to state the contrary, it's boxing. I wouldn't be surprised. This record so far is far from remarkable, but he's very early on in his career. But now let's talk about his style. Every fight he has been getting better. Of course, his boxing style is influenced by his legendary grandfather, yet it's tailored to its own strengths. His style is mainly centered around solid technical skills, aggressive combinations, and effective use of footwork. Unlike his grandfather, he does not rely on that float like a butterfly approach, but he shows promising power. As he takes more fights, it has showed he's refining his skills slowly and is focused on correcting past mistakes, while also improving on his defense. Nico does have a few stylistic weaknesses. He still really is developing his defensive game and has occasional lapses in focus during fights. His relative inexperience sometimes leads to overcommitting on his punches, making him vulnerable to counters. And it can also be seen that he is overly reliant on his offensive aggression, which can leave openings for more seasoned opponents to exploit. He seems more content when he's the aggressor, but when he's put on the back foot, he can certainly struggle. So, aside from his family's legacy, you have a decent boxer with average skill, who boxes in one of the most dead divisions in boxing, being middleweight. What lies in his future for him? Well, from a legitimate professional standpoint, he is a future cash cow for Top Rank. I've seen this story before in my own country of Australia. The Zhu brothers, sons of legendary world champ Kostya, were a promoter's dream, as anything linked with their name is going to be big. I think you could also compare it to, say, a Campbell Haddon, son of Ricky Haddon. Do I think Nico is anywhere close to the skill of the Zhu brothers? No. You've seen that in Top Rank's refusal to play ball with a potential Nico and Nikita Zhu fight, in which it would be an absolute payday for both. Top Rank will try to protect its asset to the best of its ability. They will set Nico up on a path in which the opponents will get harder, but they will be hand-picked. All to lead him to a world championship attempt in a division where there are no real standouts. And I think Nico can see that. It is certainly in an element in his refusal to play ball with Jake Paul. He is more likely to have a bigger payday in the long term if he stays on the Top Rank path rather than have a fight with Paul, while additionally ending up with a better legacy on the Top Rank path. I think with a potential Paul fight, people are seemingly neglecting some glaring points. Jake Paul is after names he can market. See when he tried to fight Hassan Rahman's son and then backed out? All these fights are big names, and the money he makes is from tying his own name, which is a younger social media audience, alongside an older base, which is usually followers of another older legend / fighter. It legitimizes him as well as getting maximum promotional reach. In terms of this potential matchup, Jake just previously has been bulking up for Mike Tyson at heavyweight, and for Mike Perry, that's at cruiserweight. Nico is a middleweight. Middleweight is 165 pounds, cruiser is 185, and Jake has been bulking past 200. Jake knows what he's doing, he wants to fight the smaller fighter with a legitimate name. Although it would have been a payday for Nico, it's the smartest thing that he's done in rejecting this fight, and I hope to see it never happen. Jake isn't going to slim down for this fight and would fight it absolutely on his terms. He refuses to take a fight which isn't. I really hope Nico's talk about this fight isn't him hyping up the fight and is legitimately not going to take the fight, but really only time will tell. Nico will take whatever fight is handpicked by the top-ranked matchmakers next, and to see him face a real challenge, a top-rated boxer or a comparable prospect, I think we'll have to wait some years still for that. Does he have the potential to be as great as his grandfather? Of course not. But he's a decent fighter, yet with shortcomings which in any challenging bout will spell trouble. But now, I want to hear what you think about Nico Ali Walsh and just how good you think he is down below. But just quickly, if you've never heard of me before, my name is Cloyster, and I make boxing related content to help keep you informed. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.